Hi, I'm Kelly at Book and Paper Arts, and I'm back. I'm back from France, and today I'm going to show you some of the treasure that I bought during the last few weeks while I was in France. Some of it came from flea markets and paper shows, while some of it came from secret sources. All of it is extraordinary, and I'm just so happy to be able to show it today. It is a lot of book and paper eye candy. It's also a lot of videos, so please pull up a cup of tea and join me as we have a look at the good stuff. If you like vintage books and paper, if you like book and paper arts and journal arts, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and be sure and turn on the notifications, and you will have more of them in your life. Let's go. A lot of the pieces today are going to remain in the permanent Kelly Bowler paper collection. A few pieces are going to be for sale. I have not had the chance to put them in my online shop yet. So, if you see something in today's video, either check out the text box below the video to see if it's listed there, or drop me an email or a message, comment, and I'll let you know if it's for sale. We'll see. All right, let's start with this beautiful thing. I work in paper for a living, and I've never seen this before, and it blew me all the way away. It's a book. This says factures, and that means receipts. It's a French word for receipts. And it is a book, and inside it's bound receipts. Let's see. There we go. Nope, there we don't go. And these receipts, which are from 1910, are something else. They often have this very ornate, almost Art Nouveau letterhead, which is, look at that, really something, since these came from a quincaillerie, which means hardware store. So that is a pretty fancy letterhead, very pretty letterhead for a hardware store. You've got the shadowing, the font, the flowers. You also have a lot more going on in these receipts. You've got the handwriting and their ledgers, which is always interesting. What I do with these is I use them in my art journals and altered books, as I glue them in as a kind of a background page. So let's say you've got, that's a good one. Let's say you've got something like this. I can glue it into my book, and this is where the fold is going to be, the gutter. So this is going to be a page, and this is going to be a page. And now I can use this as a canvas for beginning, say, some collage. So I could put that on one page, and on the other page, I don't want to cover up all of the font, but I'll add something over here, and we're off and away. Another way that I use these in my own work is I will be able to prime the page with some clear gesso or whatnot, and then when it's dry, I can paint over this or use other water-soluble, water media, mixed media, and this is going to be the canvas. I am adding some of these to the French ephemera boxes that I sell. And every time I go and get new stock, the boxes are a little different. So these are going to weren't really in the last ones. And this new lot of ephemera boxes will have 2 or 3 of these guys in there for you to put into your own work. Also, I'm going to be making printable scans of these. They will be free, and they will be on my website. So, if you subscribe to my newsletter, link is in the text box below. you will know when these go up on my website for free in a few days. What's even cooler about this thing is it was bounded to a cover where somebody just hand folded this cover. Now there's a pocket, and you could put stuff in the pocket. And it's bound with a stab binding. So this just knocks my socks off. Quite the thing. This was also really caught my eye when I walked by. It's there's nothing in it. At one time it was a school notebook for this school that was run by the Dame de la Providence. But even though it's empty, I had to have it because what I'm going to do is take this, and there's another one, a blue one somewhere, it's walked away, and I'm going to fill it with blank papers to make it into a blank book, a blank journal, and those will be for sale, I hope, this time next week. I'm also turning this into a blank book. It's a beautiful piece from 1850, but the cover's gone, which is actually okay because it gives me permission to turn it into something else. And you can see it's exquisite. It's got these tiny blue flowers. And what I'm going to do with this one is turn it into a blank book that's more of an art journal with, and I'll show that when I finished making it. But these are going to be the covers, and it's going to have an open spine because this one is I don't think can be restored. I also have scans, free printables of these covers, and they'll be coming to you soon on my website. Let's see. Boy, this is, let's see, a handwritten songbook. It's for the fête of Noel, so it's for a Christmas festival. And it's a handwritten, these are lyrics, so that you could use this as a songbook and follow along. And the writing is incredible. You can see how they've got all these flourishes in the D's and in the page marker. I do not know what I'm going to do with this, except to gaze at it adoringly for a while and then figure out the best way to use it. It is a beautiful thing as a book, but it's also not in great condition, so we'll see. But it has so much potential and beauty. This piece I actually did not get in France. I got in Swansea yesterday at my secondhand bookstore. It's from 1766. And it's does not seem to have any engravings, but it's got this old laid paper and the letterpress. And you can see that it's very old-timey, where the S's in the word strict necessity look very much like F's. Foxtrot in frict necessity. It's not really what they are, but it's very, very, very charming and unusual. And again, what I'll be doing here is using these for backgrounds in journals and for mixed media work. And some of these pages will be going in the new boxes. Finally, book-wise, look at this. This is one of those pieces that is so unintentionally macabre that it's hilarious. It's called Les Accidents de l'Enfance, which means the accidents of childhood. It's got this handwritten frontispiece. And that one says 1818, but the colored, this piece says it's 1813. And it's all about what happens to naughty children who do what they're not supposed to do. And it's basically like Edward Gorey for 1813, because let me tell you, this is um, a lot. It's a lot. Let's see. Okay, so we've got a kid falling out of a tree here, head first. That's not going to end well. And so these are little stories that are cautionary tales. Here we have a story about old Father Simon and his 3 accidents. Here, a cat has scratched out his eyes because he was taunting the cat. Don't do that. Here, he was messing with his horse, so it kicked him and he lost his leg. Oh, here's one where a boy has killed his mother by d'un coup de pierre. He threw a rock and he hit his mom, and now she's dead. Let's see. Oh, and this chap set his hair on fire. Okay, so these I have rarely seen anything quite this, like I said, macabre. Okay, this boy has just spilled boiling water on his leg, and this girl is also setting herself on fire. And here she's falling. So this one I am keeping, but I am going to try to make some printable versions. It's a little tricky because when you put it down to scan like this, it doesn't always work, but I'm going to try. And when those go up, I'll put a notice in the newsletter so you can go grab those for your own edification and work. I did not get quite as many handwritten pieces as I had hoped. A couple. But I did go to a postal show. It's like it says, it's stamps and postcards, but also letters and whatnot. Some of them are very collectible and expensive. I tend to go to the boxes that are more beat up and anonymous and in my price range. If you collect mail art, at least here in Britain, this is called a wrapper. And that is because it did not come in an envelope. Envelopes would cost money back in 1868. So instead, you would take your original piece, in this case, it is also a facture, and with his extraordinary handwriting, 1858, and then instead of putting it into an envelope, this bill would have been folded in on itself. I think that would tuck inside of there. And hey presto, you've got your self-folding thing. I just am in love with the handwriting. This one is like a ledger. This is on pretty thin paper, which means I can do different things with it. Again, you could start some collage. I don't know. I haven't had time to figure that out. These are just envelopes, and inside are cards or letters. Ooh, let's see, what's that? Mon cher papa. So this is a letter to his dad. Oh boy, I did not know that was in there. Ding, ding, ding. It's a card. So this will probably go into the pocket of an altered book. And I'll add some pieces a little bit to this. And then it'll all be going in the altered book. Maybe. And that's just going to be a beautiful background for collage. Let's see, this one. This one is actually from 1751. It was in the cheap box. So, look at that. It's like 270 years old. And just holding it makes you think. Also at the postal show were a lot of postcards, and I found these of Joan of Arc, Jeanne d'Arc. And again, they are beautiful and fascinating, but a little bit weird because of the style of the time. These are scenes from her life. So here's one where she's presenting the sword to Charles VII to tell him to man up. To king up? I don't know. This was from 1904, which is interesting because she wasn't actually made a saint until 1920. So these predate her canonization. Okay, she's wounded when she wanted to deliver France. And here's this is my favorite, because you've got this angel who's hanging by wires or whatnot. Maybe she's standing on a stool or an apple cart, apple box. And it's when Joan of Arc, as a peasant girl, first hears the voices. Ooh. And it does not end well, as you know, and here she is at the end. But boy, these are just crazy. Let's see. While we're talking about Joan of Arc, I did find, again, since she came to the holy card game a little bit late, so you don't really. It's kind of unusual to find a Joan of Arc holy card, and I was happy to get this one. It's a pretty piece with scalloped edges. Also, from a different sale, but Joan of Arc related, is this missal. And it's a holy book. Well, it's a book with the offices of the Catholic Church. There's prayers, psalms, the masses, and each page on the edge has an image from the life of Joan of Arc. Ooh, there's an engraving. It's pretty nice. Let's see when this is from. It is from 1904. It's in pretty good condition, and it has these watered silk fleur-de-lis end papers, and the initials are V. Is that a V? This is pieces for sale. Check out the text box to find out more. Also in the postcard family, I got quite a few here that have, these go in the ephemera boxes. That's where these usually end up. Some of them do have charming images. That's pretty steampunk. It's from the First War. But mostly I chose these for the handwriting, because again, what you've got here is in a pocket, and that you can, again, turn into the base for maybe some collage or something. You can do a lot with these. So these are the kind of ordinary but very cool ones. These are, I got this beautiful, really outstanding once-in-a-lifetime lot, and I'm going to show these because they are just wild. This is made on celluloid. It's hand-painted and handwritten. The celluloid postcards usually have lost some corners like on this one because the celluloid becomes brittle. Oh, in fact, look at that. That's already had a mishap. Yikes. I might try to mend that. Let's see. These are hand embroidered. It was a cottage industry in the First World War, so ladies could do these at home, hand embroider these cards, and then sell them. This, I really am so excited about some of these because they're cards. You see, they're stamped, but they're actually like little booklets. So again, this is probably going to go into an art journal page or an altered book, because then you can add something here, some text or some collage, and then it'll open up. I got quite a few that are 3D. I don't know if that's going to show on camera, but this one's got some silk ribbons. This one is also on celluloid, and it's got a shiny fish on a ribbon. Yeah. It's called Poisson d'Avril. And for April 1st, you celebrate with fish. That's another story. It's got the scalloped edges. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. It's a postcard. It's a souvenir of Angers. So I just love cards that are actually booklets with open and do things. And so when this goes into the altered book, it will just make this page really pop because it moves. Here's another booklet. Another 3D piece with ribbons and this, oh, that's a rose-colored celluloid. Cool. I will probably put up scans of these for next Easter. That's when these go up, or April 1st. So, and there's a card for Easter itself. While we have adorable chicks, let's look at these adorable animals. I just have a thing about this. Is from 1911. Old postcards with animals. Some happy cats. Kittens in a box. Kittens on a table. Kittens eating cake. So it really did well cat-wise and dog-wise. And this series, I don't know, they just she's wearing a paper hat made out of different newspapers. I don't know why, but I am here for it. One of the most fascinating pieces that I got on this trip was this little hand-turned wooden box which contains relics. Back in the day, it was a very common belief that the bones or the clothing of a saint, if you had little pieces of those would be a way that you could connect to this saint, and this saint could connect directly to God. So these were considered very powerful. I think it's a little strange, but I am captivated by them. This has, looks like some bone from Saint Therese, Saint Francis de Sales, Saint Bernard, and I don't know. I have to get my loop out and see who these others are. So that is just something. Got some paper quilling in there too, in the little box. I do love a good little box. Other religious ephemera, whatnot that I came back with. Some vintage rosaries. And some of these are onyx, mother of pearl. There's some with some amethyst colored beads. Vintage rosaries are getting much harder to find than they were when I first started selling boxes years ago. They're just not, I mean, of course they're making contemporary rosaries, but the vintage ones, once they're gone, they're not making any more old ones. So I was very happy to acquire a few this trip. These go in the ephemera boxes. That's what these smaller rosaries are for. I also got this bigger one, and it's just so pretty with the blue crystal. Not sure what. Let's see. Oh, these are lovely little things. They're little plaques with Saint Therese and Saint Teresa. And these would have been used for devotions. If you were on a pilgrimage or if you were traveling and you wanted to keep things light, so you couldn't take a heavy shrine with you, but you could take this little piece and then put it up like that. And when you said your prayers or your devotions, you'd have that there. This has one too, but it's not working really well. I'm going to use these. I'm going to turn them into pocket shrines. Pocket shrines are like this. And then inside they will have different elements. This might be going in one here, maybe on the cover. I'm not sure yet. I've actually got back orders for pocket shrines, but if you're interested, send me a message. Let me know. Let's see. Also going in shrines, pocket shrines, or pocket shadow boxes are going to be these watch pieces. And I really can't believe I was able to get these. They're tiny watch cases. And on one side, you would be able to open it up, if it wasn't broken, and put in a photo or a lock of hair, which you can see through here. And then on the other side, just look at this detail. The flowers, the engraving. And then, so it's got these little secret layers. I'm not sure how I'm going to incorporate this. I might go on the spine of an altered book. Or I might see if I can hang them in here, and then I'll put something inside of the locket. Here's another one. It's missing the bezel, but it's got the engraving. Let's see. Here's a bigger one, and this is, I guess it was for a pocket watch, or maybe it's just a box. No, it'd be for a watch. It's got a clock face on the outside. And so what I might do here is take an old carte de visite, an old photograph, or a card, and trim it so that it fits inside of these small pieces, and then put these in the new shrines. We'll see. I haven't got that far yet, but these were beautiful. And so many ideas. I found the most exquisite lace on this trip. This piece made me gasp when I saw it on the table. It's cotton, it's handmade, it's cotton thread, but done in such a fine way. It's very wide, it's on the card, and It would have been probably the part of a petticoat. I'm not sure how much is here, maybe 2 meters. I haven't taken it off and measured it, but boy, that is. This would have been made, like I said, by hand, and it would have been made using the bobbins, where you've got 6, 9, 15 bobbins going at one time. I've seen demonstrations of it, and it's a lot. This is also made by hand with a cotton thread. And this came in a bag that actually says, with the compliments of the Musée de la Dentelle, which à la main, which is lace that's made by hand. And so you just got all these pieces. I do sell pieces of lace like this come in the ephemera boxes because I know a lot of you use these in making your journals, the covers for your journals, and sometimes the pages as well. I also use a lot myself. That is extraordinary. And if you just wanted to buy some yardage, some lace, let me know. Let's see. This is a kind of a Chantilly lace. Or it's not similar. It's similar to Chantilly. And this piece, let's see, I think would have been a collar, that would go around the collar of a dress. And it is called, I had to write it down, Dentelle de Luxeuil. I may not have said that right. And so it's a kind of a hand-worked piece. And again, like the handwriting, the fact that somebody made these makes them feel personal, and there's something moving about it. I got this little sampler. I do not know how old it is, but boy, I cannot wait to turn it into a page in a book. And then there's this little bit here, which would have been the sleeve of an old suit, a lady's suit or dress. Yowza. I got a few photos. Let's see, here's a family. You can see there's a lot of story going on here. The old gown, the buttons, the girl's holding some flowers. They got hair ribbons for days. I do like this one. These little tykes are giving the photographer all of the side eyes. I don't know why. Talk about a story. I collect photographs of First Communions. And again, they're very moving. And there's a lot of things going on in this picture. You've got her gown, the headpiece, the veil, which is just exquisite. Her face, this lovely young child embarking upon this new part of her life. She's got this mother of pearl rosary and a missal as well, the prayer book. And the rosary would have been something really once in a lifetime special, like these. I have a couple with a hand cut mother of pearl. And that's what she's got right there. I also collect photos of old-timey nuns, and this just made me so happy. They have the oversized rosaries that are worn around their waist, like this. I have a few of those too. These headpieces. And then this frame, which would have been made from fabric by hand. And it's actually a very beautiful thing with the old gold thread trim and then some striped brocade on the back. It's actually quite a lovely thing. This is sublime. Just this little cherub of a child with a floral headband, the ruffled dress, beautiful expression, just lovely. And these are more of the First Communion dresses. And more of those weirdly unhappy children. Talk about Edward Gorey. They need to be in an Edward Gorey book. I got very lucky with booklets and cards like this because, as a rule, these tend to be pricey and not in my budget. But I managed to get this lot. And this is a voter identity card, I guess. Card de lecture. And these will go into pockets in altered books or art journals. So this will be in the pocket, and then I'm going to alter the card itself. So you can add a photo so it becomes a different kind of card, or a little bit of collage. Add some handwriting, text, a quote. So I got a few of those. Coming soon to an altered book near you. These little notebooks are from the military, Minister of the War, Ministry. And these would have been little notebooks and records. 1905 is when he was born. And again, I like to turn these elements into little altered books, which is what I will be doing with this one from 1885, 1877. Okay, and I'll be turning this into an altered book. Maybe. Little books like this. A couple of more of the military notebooks. Let's see. Whoa. This is from 1863. And it's a marriage license, a handwritten certificate of marriage. Beautiful. A few more wrappers from a different sale. I like the blue ones a lot. And then this booklet. This is just a little frame for a photo. Again, when it goes into an altered book, put a card in here. Make it sort of interactive. And inside I stored these holy cards so they wouldn't get too lost. And there's a few in here of mourning cards. So someone in their family died, and then these cards have the black border, and it would have been given out at the funeral and afterwards, the wake. And also, in speaking of mourning, I got this extraordinary bunch of mourning stationery. Because after you had a death in your family, you would have been in mourning probably for a year or more. And anytime you wrote a letter, it would be on this black-edged stationery. So let's take that up a little. This black-edged stationery. I'm not sure. Those might be notes from a sermon, but... And this is what you call new old stock. It's very vintage, but it's never been used. And one of these will be going into the new Ephemera boxes. So if you're buying an Ephemera box, you're going to get a piece of this morning stationery. Finally, some of the coolest things I think I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen these before. They look like stamps on a wood block, but they're actually from a letterpress. So these would have been used in a printing press. And if you've seen my work, you know that I work in a church iconography a lot, especially when it comes to ruins and church buildings. And so you've got here your windows. Here's one that's a floor plan of an old church, the transept. There's the door of an old church. I think this is meant to be a tympanum, which might have gone over the door like this, and it seems to be, might be the four apostles. I'll let you know when I use it. Oh, and this one is an architectural piece where they've cut away from this basilica. I don't have a printing press yet, so I've got to figure out a way to use these, but I will be putting these on papers in my journals and collage because they just knock my socks off. And then finally, I treated myself because these were not cheap, but I just felt like they were meant to be with me, and they are two angels, cherubs. And this one has a little lamb. It's actually a signed piece. There's an R there. And here's another angel who's singing to the birds. Couldn't just leave them there. Basta! That's it. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be putting up a ton of this stuff as free printables, scans on my website. The best way that you can find out about that is if you are subscribed to my free online newsletter. You can do that. It's on my website, and you'll see the link in the text box below this video, so you'll know when those start going up. It'll probably be in 2 or 3 lots. It's a bunch. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comments below. I love to compare notes. Or send me an email. Be sure and join me because next week I'm going to get back on the making things and teaching things bandwagon. And I'm going to be showing how to make these little bowls out of tea bags. It's messy and they're great. You don't want to miss that. So stay tuned. Until then, happy making.